get us online.
Got it.
And let's see if we can get live on Zoom here. I mean, on Facebook, sorry. All right, here we go.
All right.
Just waiting for it to go live.
Okay.
All right, it looks like we are actually live on Facebook and the Women's Migraine Freedom Group. Hello, hello. Welcome to our migraine strategy call for today. Happy Tuesday afternoon. Thank you so much for joining us. I am not the awesome Debbie Waidl. I'm actually Erin Salem, and I'm thrilled to be here with you today. I work mostly in the Freedom from Migraine Method program as the client success coach. I'm also a graduate myself of this program, and let me tell you, I'm grateful every day to be migraine free. If you're watching this live in the group, please put an emoji, say hello, let us know you're watching. If you end up watching this on replay, please make sure to put #replay so we know you have access to these great interviews. All right, so thank you so much. It's great to have you here with us today in the group. And just a reminder why we do these calls. So we do these weekly calls. Sometimes they're with graduates. Sometimes we're lucky enough today to have the amazing Robin with us here today, who's actually a current member of the program. Sometimes we interview experts. We just want to share more information with you about our program options, about information regarding migraines, okay, and how we can best support you to find your own version of migraine freedom. So like I said, Robin's here with us today. Thank you so much, Robin, for joining me.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah, and this is kind of cool because usually we talk to people after they graduate, but you are currently a member of the Freedom from Migraine Method program. So you're kind of in process. So that's very exciting.
Mm-hmm.
So before we get started, let me just share some great information you shared about us with us, and then we'll go from there. So Robin is married to Jack, and they have 3 adult children who are all married. We were just talking about how much Robin's enjoying 3 grandchildren at this point, which is amazing. Robin is retired after 30 years of Air Force active duty service. And I just want to take a moment and say, wow, and thank you. That's extraordinary. So thank you. Robin's hobbies include, I love how you say this, golf, pickleball, walks with my dog and husband, in that order, and then cross stitch, embroidery, attending concerts, and spending time with family and friends. And you were at the point of having nearly daily headaches or migraines when you found the FFMM program. And when we last checked in, and I don't know if this has changed, you can update us, but you state you're now going at least 8 weeks, sometimes 2 weeks in between headaches. Does that pretty much the same for you at this point, Robin?
Absolutely. Yes, it is. I've been 2 weeks migraine free at one point, and then 3 weeks migraine free right after Mother's Day. And now I'm going at least probably a week to 2 in between headaches, which is a miracle.
So daily to spreading out 2 to 3 weeks. And you're still in the program. That's amazing.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Wow. All right. So before we talk more about your awesome success, and forgive the dog noise behind me. It's always it's either the 2-legged kids or the 4-legged kids, right? So let's go back before you joined the program. What did your life look like? What was your reality like before you joined the Freedom from Migraine Method program?
My reality was that I could expect a migraine anytime I played golf, anytime I played pickleball, anytime I had drinks with friends, anytime I traveled. I could just pretty much count on a headache almost every day. And I was really, really dependent on my triptans for pain relief, and to the point of overuse where my medical doctors at the VA kind of suspended my prescription. That's how bad it was. So,
So
yeah.
trying to survive using the tools you had, and yet even your
Mhm.
doctor's concerned about how much medication you were taking.
Yes, that's correct. So,
Yeah.
yeah, it was pretty much, and that has been going on probably for about 30 to 40 years. Just always have headaches, always. And they really didn't know what it was like to go more than a few days without one. So it was pretty miserable. And I'm very active. And in order to stay active, I was, using the medications to be able to get through a day.
Yeah. So even when you were active duty Air Force, you were having headaches.
Oh, absolutely. Yes. When I was active duty Air Force, I wasn't on the triptans yet.
Mhm.
I self-medicated with like Advil PM, Tylenol PM, those types of medications, and just was kind of, obviously I didn't play a lot of golf when I was working, or
Yeah.
my fun activities, but
Right.
in order to balance my career and home life, I was just medicated heavily. So
Yeah. Well, and I think a lot of us, I know if you can relate in the group today, please put something in the comments. Like when you have work, especially when you're active duty, you can't just not show up, right? I mean, you got to go to work. You have children, you got to show up. I think what you say resonates so much. I know with me, it was awful to when the kid, especially when my kid was younger, and to know like, oh, if we go have fun today, I'm going to feel miserable later, but I'm going to medicate just enough so I can almost function. Right. I mean,
right.
that's a hard way to live, especially year after year. And you said this went on for over 30 years?
Yeah, I'm almost 61 now, and I can recall beginning to get headaches in my late 20s while I was active duty. In fact, I had a couple of them send me to the hospital while I was at work. Actually, I had to leave and go to the hospital. But in terms of frequency,
Mhm.
they were more frequent probably since menopause.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. Which is something, perimenopause, menopause, those hormone fluctuations. Okay. Well,
um,
thank you for sharing that. And I know I always love to hear about your golf tournaments and your pickleball, and we need to stay active to stay healthy, right? But how do you
right.
stay active if you're in constant
Oh,
pain, right? It's just catch
mhm.
22 all the time, right?
Yeah,
Or how do
exactly.
you stay active with the side effects of the medication, you
Right.
know? So, okay. So how did you find the Freedom from Migraine Method program in the group?
So I'm pretty certain it popped up in my Facebook feed, the Women's Migraine Freedom.
Yep.
And I, I'm kind of I guess I'll try anything addict when it comes to my headaches. And
Mhm.
so, I just popped in and I saw that, wow, there were so many women in the group who sounded exactly like me. And then, of course, I think I stumbled on a video of a current member of the Freedom from Migraine group, and she said it was the best thing she ever did. And so, as I began thinking about joining, I started watching the videos and the testimonials and things like that. So,
Yeah.
you
Well,
guys found me.
oh, good. Well, we found you and you gave us a chance. So that's a win-win.
Right.
Well, and I think one of the reasons it's so important to do this interview with you still in the program is we often hear like, oh, those video testimonials can't, they must be paid people. They must not be actual graduates but you're currently in the program. So we're not making this up. You're currently living
Right.
the program, right? So that's
Right.
great. Okay. So daily pain, over medicated, having to constantly maneuver, like if I want to live my life and have fun, how am I going to function? Join the program. And you've been in the program, what we're looking at about, oh, what are we at now? Like 11 weeks, 10, 11
About
weeks?
11, I think so. Yes.
Yeah. Yeah. So what is your life like these days, even not having finished the program yet? What's changed for you?
So I am proud to say that I've weaned off some preventive medications. One being one that I learned recently has made me retain weight. It's been very difficult to lose any unwanted weight I've been wanting to lose. The doctor helped me wean off of that, and I feel fine. I'm taking obviously way less triptans now. I take maybe one every couple of weeks to, when I know that I've tried everything else, and that's kind of my last resort instead of my first resort.
Yeah.
Yeah. So my life is different in that I don't feel like I have to pre-medicate before going out for the evening to listen to music, or pre-medicate before a round of golf. It, I have more energy. I feel better. I'm on the couch less, with a heat pad on my head than I ever was. So
Mhm.
it's way different. One of my passions is cross stitching. I could never do that with a headache. And
Yeah.
so I cross stitch a little bit every day now.
Wow.
With the exception of that, I still get that pop-up migraine every now and again, that, continued work through the program, I'm hoping to eliminate even those. So
Yeah. Wouldn't that be amazing?
yeah,
So you don't have to
yeah,
pre-medicate. You get to do what you want and live your life. It sounds like you're even more active with golf and pickleball than you were able to be.
I am.
And you get some joy of just hobbies back. I don't know about you, but before the program, before I found my version of migraine freedom, I forgot how much fun and how much joy can be in life. I know it sounds silly, but
Right.
it was almost like reopening to joy and reopening to fun, because with migraines, fun was like, oh, I have to navigate medication or how I'm going to do this. I don't know about you, but I'm really enjoying, like, oh, I can have fun now and not pay for it, right? Does that
Right.
resonate with you?
Oh, absolutely. In
Mhm.
fact, my oldest son, when I shared with him that I had joined this program, he's like, wow, so you mean to tell me all those times that we visit, we have holidays together and Henry's birthday,
Mhm.
you're in pain? And I said, yeah, pretty much, or I'm heavily medicated and dealing with it.
Mhm.
That they just kind of didn't really have that idea, because I don't like to worry my kids or anything
Right.
like that. But you know, it, it's just so different. I mean, they were just here for the weekend, and I did great. I mean, I didn't have to excuse myself. I didn't have to go lay down early, any of that.
Yay.
So
Yeah, you and
yeah,
I were,
amazing.
yeah, you and I were talking before we jumped on the call today that, time with family is, for me, one of the biggest gifts there is, especially
Mhm.
as time marches on here. So to be fully present, I think, is the best gift we can give ourselves and each other. And, it's amazing how well you managed, but now your children and grandchildren can see what it's like to have you fully present and not worried in the back of your mind, wondering, you know,
Right.
right. All
Exactly.
right. I want to share
Exactly.
this one quote you shared, which is great, which you were so excited to share this. And when I saw it, I was so excited for you. I am now 2 weeks without a headache, despite 3 rounds of golf and 1 day of pickleball in the heat. I
Yeah.
mean, that's extraordinary, right?
Yeah. That was unbelievable. I just kept waiting for it to come, because like I knew I was probably pushing myself too hard, but I belong to this ladies league, and sometimes we play golf more than once a week. And I know that would probably be ideal for
Mhm.
me, but I'm not okay with having to say, well, I can't play more than once a week because I'll get a headache. So I just kept waiting for it to come, waiting for it to come, and it never did. And I was, as I was journaling my headaches, I just couldn't believe that I had been so long without one. And, my mom asked me how I'd been feeling, and I said, and by this point, I was into my second week or maybe almost my third, and hadn't had a triptan since Mother's Day. So I don't know. It's just, I just still kind of can't believe it. So
It's really neat when you realize when you're, because before, I don't know about you, before the program, it was easier for me to track the good days than the not good,
right.
because I had, right, more not good was the normal. It's really cool when you have to sit down and think
Mhm.
about, like, wait a minute, when was the last time I was in pain? Let me check, because I can't remember.
Unbelievable.
Yeah, that's awesome. Oh, I'm
Right.
so happy for you.
Mhm.
You've been open to the program.
Thank you.
You've done the work and it's paying off.
Mhm.
And your smile is so happy and bright and joyful today. It's wonderful to see. It really is wonderful to
Thank
see.
you.
So at this point, I know you're not done yet, and you've got a ways to go to hit some of the goals you would like. Would you say it's been worth the investment in your time and your energy in the program?
Oh, uh, without a doubt, without a doubt. I can't imagine, you know, where I would still be signing up for new pills and new tricks and new machinery. Yeah, believe me, I have it all. I have my dates pierced. I mean, the whole 9 yards. Like, I would still be out there looking for the next newest thing. In fact, I was real close to getting that read migraine procedure in Texas where they put
Mhm.
the thing in the back of my neck. I mean, it's surgery, and if I had the money, I would have probably already done it. So
Well,
I'm
I
glad.
think, yeah, I'm glad we found you, you found us. And I think too, if
Mhm.
you, I often say to people, if you can't understand migraine pain, I'm really happy for you, because once you've had it, all pain is pain. Chronic pain is no fun. For me, migraine pain is a very
Right.
unique thing, right? And I don't think people really understand how miserable it is unless they've been through it. And the fact that you're willing to go through surgical
Definitely.
procedures to get your life back, right? I mean, that's a testament. Exactly. Well,
Mhm.
I so appreciate your time today. It's so wonderful to see you smile. I don't want to keep you from your pickleball
Thank
or your
you.
golf today. So is there anything else, if this was you listening to your video a few months back, is there anything else you'd like to say to the people in the Women's Migraine Freedom Group?
I would just say that, I'm going to be completely honest. When I was sharing what I had found on Facebook with my husband, he was like, "Really, a Facebook group? Like, your doctors haven't been able to help you, but you think a Facebook group can help you?" And um, you know, I shared that skepticism, but at the same time, I didn't, because I knew that the women you were interviewing weren't being paid. I mean, I just didn't have that feeling that you guys were trying to falsely get me into something for the money. And so if you're there with with being skeptical, I get it. Um, but one of the things I told my husband, and he's been very supportive, and he told me, listen, if you think this is something that can work for you, I want you to do it.
Mhm,
And I told him, listen, if I put the money into it, I'm going to do the work. I need
mhm,
somebody to hold me accountable. I
yep,
need somebody to give me a classroom type environment,
yep,
and that's what I know has worked for me in my entire lifetime, even in the military. So for me to try to do it on my own just wasn't working. 40 years of me trying to do it on my own, and I was I was miserable. So I would say to anyone watching in the group, if you can, if you feel like I did, and you're suffering with migraine pain, and there's a way that you can invest in the program, I would highly recommend it. Absolutely.
that's great to hear. And yeah, I think, I often have talked to potential clients, and I love, there's people we talk to and we listen to them and we find this isn't a great match for you, or
Right.
we talk to people and we say, okay, we have these range of options. We think this will work best for you. But I think until you talk to someone on our team like you did, you don't know. And
Hmm.
I think to the group support here, I'm always so impressed and honored to support you and our other clients, like the kindness, the compassion. And I think you said it brilliantly, like, why do we have to do this alone? You don't have to, right? Um, who doesn't deserve help, right? I think that's what's crucial. And I know Debbie, myself, and the rest of the team work very hard to keep this a kind, safe environment for everyone. So that's great to hear that you
Hmm.
feel that way. And you're right. I hear you. I mean, being held accountable in a kind way to ourselves and each other, right? Like, oh, have you
Hmm.
have you tried X, Y, and Z? Okay, Robin, why not? Like, but with
Right.
kindness and
Exactly.
compassion, right? Or let's figure this out
Sure.
and tailor it a little more to what you need so that it works for you. I think it's
Right.
that individual and group support that's so crucial, right?
And
Yeah.
I would like to just say as well that one of the things being in the group has also kind of opened my eyes to is I was bad, but I wasn't nearly as bad as I know some of the women in our group have suffered. Like I I wasn't bedridden a lot. I wasn't, I don't, have to be in a dark room because I was a junkie. I was taking a lot of drugs to make
Hmm.
myself feel better, like
Yep.
So I was kind of a highly functioning migraine sufferer, but at the same time, just miserable. And getting a migraine makes you feel depressed and angry too. So
Yes.
my personality was impacted by it. But I will just say that I'm one of the fortunate ones that I know that there are some of you watching right now who have it way worse than I do. And so, or did.
Mhm.
And I mean, these ladies are amazing. The work they do in the Facebook groups, the live chats, the coaching calls, all of it. It's worth putting your earbuds in, listening to it,
Mhm.
and learning something new. It's
Yeah.
absolutely amazing. So,
Well, you're speaking to your compassion and kindness, and I hear you. There is such a range, unfortunately, in what misery looks like for each person. And I also love that you said, if it's impacting your life, it's impacting your life. So for you, it was medication. For another person, it might be a dark room. For another person, it might be disability from work. What it looks like for each of us can be very different, and yet all of it's miserable. All of it impacts our lives, and all of it requires support and new
sure.
knowledge to have it change, right? Because
Mhm.
personally, Debbie and I joke, but Debbie and I often say, like, if we could work ourselves out of these jobs, if there was one day where there was no women with migraines, I mean,
Right.
we'd be out of work, right? But how
Right.
awesome would that be? That would be an awesome day.
I
You
know.
check that
Right.
off the list. That would be
I
amazing.
know.
Okay. Well,
Mhm.
thank you, Robin, for your time. It's a joy to support you in the group. It's a joy to be here with you today. I'm so happy for you, your husband, Jack, your kids and your grandkids, even your dogs.
Yeah.
Your ability to be present is different, and that will continue to change. And how awesome is that, especially after all your years of service and all your hard work. So congratulations, and
Thank you.
I'm so glad too. I think it's about, at least for me too, and I think this will resonate with you. A lot of this is just about prioritizing ourselves, right? It's hard as a mom and
Mhm.
a partner and all those things, I'm sure as a grandmother, to put yourself first. But if we don't,
Right.
right, nothing's going to change. Okay.
Sure.
All right. Well, I just want to say thank you to everyone in the group today for joining us. If you have any questions or comments for Robin, myself, Debbie, Barbie, Amber, anyone on the team, please put them in the comments below. We will get back to you as soon as we can. And I think now, why don't we all go out and enjoy the rest of our day? How does that sound, Robin?
Sounds great. Thank
Okay.
you.
All
All
right.
right.
Thank you, everyone. Great to see you. We'll see you next
Bye,
week, next
everybody.
Tuesday.
See you later.
Bye.
Bye.